Hello, Stephanie Joy with All Things Social Security. We had a Q&A with a short little clip discussion on a particular topic. So I'm going to attach it for you here. It might be something that you're interested in if you clicked on this header. And following that, we're going to go through it a little bit more. So just wanted to give you the heads up. This is where it started from, and then we'll have the bigger discussion right after. All right, chat with you later. Bye-bye.
Okay, let's see. Dimple, who's got a great name, Dimple Bellamy from Ohio. Okay, I'm going to get two more of these before we have to go since we're at 2 hours. Jeffrey Whitfield, good evening. How would you view a case for a 50-year-old? No work history in the past 5 years, long history of bilateral varicose veins and chronic venous insufficiency confirmed by ultrasound. Well, I think one thing that jumped, Stephanie's dogs have an opinion about it because I hear them.
I would think that these things shut that out, but apparently they
I
don't.
guess not. All right. So I would say this. You got to choose an onset date. And again, if you haven't worked in 5 years, maybe your onset date was 2, 3, 4 years ago. So maybe you got to make sure you're within your date last insured. But again, you're 50 now. So if your onset, you were less than 50, that's potentially an issue. So I think one thing I would tell you to find out is your date last insured for Title II disability. Was it after your 50th birthday? Okay. If it was, then you got the grid rules could come into play. That could really help you. If it's not, if you were, date last insured, you were 48 or 49, it's going to be more of an uphill battle. Having the bilateral varicose veins and venous insufficiency, what does that mean in terms of your functioning? Does it stop you from standing and walking? Does it mean you have to have your feet extended? What are the practical issues? But if you are over 50 before your date last insured, you could possibly make an argument you're limited to no more than sedentary work and you meet the grids, one of the 201 grids. So that's the way I see this. What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely. All the above.
Yeah.
So much is important there.
Okay. Let's see. Okay. So we'll make this. All right. And he said that record say prolonged standing, how's that defined? Is sedentary. Well, again, that's one of those weasel words, prolonged. I don't know. Is because 2 hours or less limits you to sedentary. More than 2 hours puts you at light. So you need to find out from the doctor what is prolonged. Is it less than 2 hours or more than 2 hours? That's the break point for Social Security.
Hey, TGIF, it's Friday night, and I'm about to blow out of here, but I wanted to just share something with you that I was just speaking to somebody about on the phone about 10 minutes ago. It is about the grids. If you are 50 and over, or very, very close to 50, like 49 3/4, and you are disabled as you know it, and you're trying to secure your Social Security disability benefits or SSI, you've probably heard about the grids. They're very enigmatic, and everybody's always wanting to know more about the grids because they heard it's a way to win their case. It's not a miracle pill, but just to give you a quick overview, basically under the age of 50, you have to prove that you're unable to do all jobs from a physical standpoint, sedentary, physical or mental. But from a physical standpoint, you have to be unable to do sedentary work. Once we're over 50, between 50 and 55, if we can't do our prior job, and that's been, the judge or the adjudicator finds it to be so, and we have no transferable skills to transfer to a different occupation of a lower exertional that we could physically do. So let's say, we were doing medium to heavy work, and we can't do that because we have a very damaged back. And they agree that we can't do that prior work. If we were in our 40s, they'd say, well, you can go and do something sedentary or light, and you would lose your case. Under the grid rules, they recognize that as we age, our ability to transition and adjust to other occupations that we haven't staked out our whole life is far more limited. So between 50 and 55, if you can't do your prior work, this is in a nutshell, and you have to kind of get the evidence that points to different things along the way. But in essence, if we can prove that you can't do your prior work and you have no transferable skills to move to a different occupation, then even if you could still do sedentary work, you would be found disabled under the grids. Generally speaking, that's in a nutshell. Once you're 55 to 60, It's even if you could do light or sedentary work, not just sedentary, but light and sedentary, but you can't do your prior work and you have no transferable skills. And whether you have transferable skills is a very, very complicated subject matter. So that's something you definitely want to study up on, or better yet, get a professional who's really familiar with the grids. And there are ways to prove whether or not you have transferable skills. There's certain evidence that can help show it. And certain jobs, actually, from a vocational perspective, those skills that are learned, they can be very high end, but they may not be transferable. So we have to look at all those things and get all the evidence to show that. But if you can do that, and if you're not bedridden and can still do sedentary or light work, you might still be disabled under the grids. And that's the whole miracle of the grids. Okay. So if you need help with any, you think you might be in a grid situation and you want professional assistance, we can certainly help you with that. It's a very necessary area of law that I hope that they never get rid of, because it is true that as we get older, our ability to transition and adjust to other work from a mental perspective, completely aside from the physical, is a fact. So that's what it's meant to accommodate. All right. Talk to you later. Have a great weekend. Hello again. I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope it was helpful, if not just a little bit informative. In the event you have a Social Security question you want addressed, please feel free to make a comment below and ask the question, even if nothing to do with this particular video. And just a quick, again, reminder, we have our daily video shares and tips around noon every day of the week. And on Wednesdays at 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have our live Q&A session where you can come in live and enter your questions in the chat. And we all pretty much have a good time for an hour or two. I look forward to seeing you there, hopefully. And lastly, don't forget about our benefactor memberships. They're very reasonably priced. The first one is very nominal and you get a few perks, but on a bigger scale, it contributes to us being able to fulfill a mission of assisting certain people with representation that would otherwise not be able to get it. We look forward to continuing to do that. And so far it's working out like the bomb. So thank you for being here. I appreciate it. Bye-bye now.